Good morning and welcome to week 10 and welcome to unit 4. This week we are going to be starting our fourth unit. It's another small unit. It's only 2 weeks long. And what we're going to do is I kind of explained a little bit in the unit 4 overview, but our focus is really on how rhetoric is being used in the real world. As I've mentioned before, it's really important for me to make sure that you have a good understanding of not just how this content is being used in academia, but really how you can apply it to your own life and to situations that have real kind of a level of importance. So this unit really does focus on what's happening in the midterm elections. This week, we're going to start by looking at logical fallacies. Now, there are hundreds of fallacies, but for our purposes, we're really going to focus on 3. Red herring, straw man, and ad hominem. They are some of the more commonly found logical fallacies that I think that we see especially in political dialogue, but they're the ones that I think tend to be the ones that kind of confuse people the most and voters, and because you're like, something's not quite right, but you can't quite figure out what it is. And so we're going to focus on those 3. I'm also going to suggest that you read up on a few of the other ones that you probably already know, like slippery slope and hasty generalization. You may not know them by those names, but you know that there's something wrong. At any rate, you'll be looking at those 3, red herring, straw man, and ad hominem, as they apply to one of the presidential debates from 2016 between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and just kind of watching how those 2 politicians used logical fallacies. And there's a professor in the video who kind of walks you through how that happened. So that's kind of the first thing that we're going to do this week, is unpack a little bit of logical fallacies. The second half is all about rhetoric and logical fallacies and how they're used in political campaigns, specifically the ads. These are the commercials, the things that you see on TV. We're not going to be looking at what's going on in California for this assignment. We're going to be looking at what's going on in what's called the battleground states. A battleground state is a state where an election is so close that right now you have no idea which way it's going to go, Democrat or Republican. You may have heard about the battleground states when it came to the 2020 election. For sure, there are battleground states in the midterms right now, and I have no doubt that there will be in the next presidential election as well. There are 7 right now, battleground states for the U.S. Senate. And that's important because depending on how these particular elections go, that might flip the Senate one way or another, right, between Democrat and Republican. We don't know yet because these are battleground states. So the dialogue in those states right now and the volume of ads is just incredible. I was in Arizona a couple of weeks ago unexpectedly, taking care of some family business, and I happened to turn on the news and was absolutely just, I was just in awe at the volume of political ads on Arizona TV, because Arizona is a battleground state. There were no other commercials other than political attack ads. And so it was and this assignment already existed, but I thought, wow, it's really interesting to see that you can't escape. Like, there was no way that people who were watching TV could escape the commercials unless you were recording things. But at any rate, it's a real thing. And so this week, what you're going to be doing is choosing a state. Maybe it's Arizona, maybe it's Pennsylvania, maybe, you've got 7 states to choose from. You're going to choose a state, and you're going to look at at least one campaign ad from each of those 2 candidates. You can watch more. Some of them are just fascinating, and some of them are very bad. Some of them are good. At either rate, what I want you to do is kind of think about how the candidates are using rhetoric as a way to persuade you as a voter, right? What are they doing? What's their rhetorical situation? Are they giving you a lot of data? Are they giving you more personal narrative? Are they using pathos or logos? What are they doing? What are they using from their rhetorical toolbox to deliver their message and to try to win your vote? So that's your goal in this assignment this week, is to kind of look at the rhetoric that is being used by candidates in these battleground states. You have a writing territory this week as well. So you have it's kind of a busy week this week, a discussion board, and then this assignment, battleground states and rhetoric. Also keep in mind that if your goal is to revise essay number 2, you should meet with me this week to talk about what you want to revise and how you want to approach that. Again, the revision is totally optional. You had a check-in last week, so if you put some questions or comments there, make sure you see the feedback that I gave you in Canvas. Otherwise, next week we will turn our attention to the state of California as we complete this unit, and then we'll head into our final unit of the course. But for right now, midterm elections, battleground states, logical fallacies, it's all good stuff. As a side note, if you have not yet registered to vote in the state of California, there's still time. Midterm elections are the first week of November, so register if you haven't already registered. Your vote matters.